Hey, you're listening to Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973. Here's your host, Shane Lakita.
Good morning, friends. I'm hoping that your weekend was filled with all kinds of great stuff this weekend. I'm hoping that you had some soul food, was able to enjoy good time with family and friends, do all the things that you wanted to do, along with being mindful and making healthier choices and doing all the things that you try to be able to set goals for. I'm hoping this weekend was a good one for you because that usually sets your week off right, doesn't it? Well, first of all, thank you so much for joining me here on Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973. I'm your host, Shane Lakita, and I also want to talk about how I'm kicking my Monday off here today. So, first of all, over the weekend, we did some really great things this weekend. On Saturday night, my son, who's in 8th grade, which is, of course, as many school systems all have in tow, is the last year before high school starts next year. So the 8th grade football team all had a night game under the lights here in Scarborough, Maine. And it was great. I was up in the announcer booth. My wife was up in the stands. We were watching our son play with the rest of his team. And it was in the lights, and it was really great. And it was a good time. You know, they were able to go out there and bond together and do a lot of the things that they wanted to do and incorporate in with as they're gaining momentum as a team. And they're doing a lot of really fun things. And of course, fall is kicking in up here right now. So I'm sure as we progress through the podcast, you'll see me complain more and more and more as I get more and more past Christmas time with the temperatures, the freezing cold, the snow, the ice, all that stuff. But it's the start of it. And the beginning section of it is so nice. It's so nice. I love the fact that it's cool at nighttime and crisp in the mornings, but warms up a little bit during the day, which is great. You can get some walks in. You can go out and still get some exercise, do some yard work, do all kinds of different things. And then in the evening times, it's nice and crisp enough you can put a fire up or you can do any of those things. And the leaves are starting to change. I look out my window right now and I can see some yellows, a couple little itty bitty oranges, and some reds. So fall's coming, and I'm pretty excited about that. I like fall time. Nice warm cups of coffee or hot cocoa and whatever else that you drink during the cooler season to kick off into the holiday season, which is usually pretty hectic for me on the sales side, but it's a great time to be able to just kind of get into. And a lot of people really love it. And who am I to say that you shouldn't love something or you should love something, because some people really enjoy the holidays and some people don't. So I'm hoping that you're like me and you're looking forward to it, and the cooler temperatures just really adds a lot of really fun things during the season and all that good stuff. So that was the first day. On Saturday we did that. We went out to football. We spent some good time during the day. And then on Sunday we went apple picking. We got up in the morning, and usually it's a football day, and my wife looks at me and goes, "Hey, listen, I know you just started going back to the gym here and you're getting some exercise. Let's go get some steps in. Let's go over there to the orchard that we always go to every year up at Libby and Sons U Pickup, which is up in Limerick, Maine. Beautiful, beautiful orchards. They have some really, really nice apple trees. Every kind of apple you can think of. They got raspberries, blueberries. It's just a really beautiful thing. And they do it right. They've got these little golf carts that they take everybody out to their destination. But we ended up walking because we wanted to get some steps in, and got over there to get some Honeycrisp apples and spent some more good quality time, which is so important. I mean, I think in my life, because my son's growing so fast that he's getting older, and he wants really nothing to do with his dad or his mom, and he likes to play on his video games and on his phone and drone out that way, or do his own thing, which I get. It's part of growing up. It's part of the way the kids are nowadays or whatever, but I always try to push to be able to say, let's spend some time together, some quality, good, ample time with all of us together to be able to do so. So this weekend was good. It was a really good weekend overall, about making sure that I continued to feed on some soul food and making sure that family time was important, and we prioritized that and pushed that forward. As a matter of fact, I almost turned my phone off almost the whole entire weekend, except for little bits here and there that I was able to interact with people, whether through the podcast or through No Finish Line Nation or Instagram, right? So The other part is, I forgot to mention also on Friday, is we recorded another episode of Two Kitchen Tables and a Microphone down in Massachusetts, with Jonathan, the Mud Hustler, and myself. We sat down in his basement. We recorded another episode. I felt like this was a really good one. And if you get a chance to go check it out, just punch it in right into YouTube, 2KTM, which is Two Kitchen Tables and a Microphone, and you'll be able to see our channel on there. Subscribe to it, like it, do all kinds of great stuff. Share it, and leave some comments for us to be able to see what you're thinking and how you're feeling about the whole entire video podcast that we're doing over there too. So, okay, so that's everything. That's this weekend. That was a really good snapshot of everything that happened over the weekend. But there's always something that goes on in life that just deals us some bad cards, doesn't it? No matter how good your weekend is going, life is always just kind of like sitting, like, not the Grim Reaper, that's really dark and twisted, but it's almost like this entity that's sitting over on the side that's waiting to throw a curveball at you, no matter what, no matter where, and no matter how. And over the weekend, as like I said, I was off social media for the most part. And then this morning I hopped on and I'm looking at some of the feed on No Finish Line Nation. And a lot of people had a lot of stuff go on this weekend, whether it's illnesses with family members, whether it's some folks coming down with some flus or sepsis or whatever else that goes on. Really difficult time. And life deals us some cards sometimes. And as many of you know, I also have personal stuff going on with my father. He's got Alzheimer's, and it's tough being away up here in Maine when he's down in Virginia. But I've got really good family support down there that really takes care of him and makes sure that he's in a good spot of where he's at right now. But it's really difficult to know that your father is whittling away or losing his mind, as in, no memory and not able to really function the way that he used to. So all of us have all these things that life deals us, and it just sits there and it just waits for us. It waits for us to be able to be in a good spot. So I shared over the weekend, here I am. I have a good weekend. Friday, go down to Massachusetts, record the video cast, have a really great time. Saturday, go to the football game, spend the day as a family, do all kinds of stuff. Crystal, my wife, and I went out shopping, did some good stuff. And then on Sunday, spent some time in the evening watching the debacle of a football game, but during the day did some apple picking and all kinds of great stuff. So all that stuff was really good, but always lurking in the back of my mind is the fact that my own father is going through Alzheimer's. And it's the way that life kind of keeps us grounded, I feel. I feel like, although I think it sucks a lot because life deals us cards that we just don't need. Literally, why would you deal me a bad set of cards on just a small weekend where I was able to not really worry about anything outside of the fact that I wanted to enjoy my time with my family, enjoy my time with my son and my wife and all that stuff. So why would you still deal that bad deck of cards, the slap across the face or the knockdown moment, where even if it wasn't something that actually happened, like in my situation, where it was just the thought of the fact that my sister went over there and spent last evening with my father, cooked him dinner, which was really, really great, and then my stepmother and my sister's daughter went out to the movies yesterday. So it was good family time for them, right? They were able to go do that. My sister was taking care of my dad and, giving him some food and just taking care of everything. But again, here's how life deals all these cards to you. You then think to yourself, why, well, I should be there helping them. Why can't I be there? But I've got a full-time job and I've got all the stuff that I have to do up here. And this is going on down there. So then you start feeling guilty, you start feeling bad about yourself, you start feeling in the dumps, down in the dumps. After a great weekend, you get so mentally in your head that life just keeps on just slowly trickling it in to go, oh yeah, remember this? Oh yeah, remember that? Oh yeah, here it is. So the reason that I'm sharing this with you is because everybody has life waiting for us. Everybody. All of us have situations, all of us have whatever goes on in life is going to deal us some bad cards no matter what. It's going to happen. If it hasn't happened already, it's going to happen. Now, I know that that's gloom and doom, and I know that you might look at that and say, why are you so negative, man? I mean, like, seriously, what's the reason you got to be so down in the dumps about everything? I mean, what if things can just be a positive thing that happens during the day? And I am what they call a positive, optimal realist, okay? I'm a realist because I know things happen, and I know that life happens, And I know that we're going to be dealt some cards. And I know that we're going to have to prepare to how to be able to battle through those. So how do you get through some of the things that are going to come your way? That's part of all of our preparation. Some people really rock it out when they're going through all their weight loss plans or they're going through their healthy eating, and they put these boxes together. They put these little bento boxes, and they're slapping some carrots in there. They're putting some meats in there. They're putting some veggies, some carbs, really balanced meals. And I see them. I'm so jealous of these folks because they're so organized. And I'm like, oh my God, like I wish that I could be half as organized as these folks are. And I'm always enamored, and I like them, and I share them, and I'm like, look, you're amazing. You're a rock star for doing that, for prepping out your week, right? Part of preparation for me isn't necessarily in the food side of it, which it should be. I should learn how to do that, to be honest with you. But part of the preparation for me is, how do I respond to negativity and stuff that's going to happen that life is going to deal me? The cards that life deals us is not ever really great. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm harping on all the negative things that happen. Sometimes things do happen in the positive side of it, right? I mean, which is awesome, and we need to lean in on. But I think sometimes we take advantage of the awesome things, and we go, oh, great, awesome, man. Things went my way today. This is so cool. But then we so harp on the negative things that's what causes all the problems in our lives. So when the negative things happen, that's when we start to eat. That's when we start to find comfort. That's when we're trying to be able to get away from reality. That's when we start to slide and start eat cheeseburgers or chocolate candies or whatever. We're coming up on Halloween time frame. All the candies are going to start coming into the house to fill the bowls. And then we're sitting back going, oh, you know what? Life dealt me a bad card today. Let me eat that Snickers. Let me eat those Reese's. Let me eat those little Reese's peanut butter cups or whatever, right? We make bad decisions based on the fact that bad things are happening. At least a lot of us. At least that's my story. And I know that there's a lot of people that are in alignment with that because they suffer through the same exact thing that I do. But here's the thing. Have you prepared yourself for when things happen? Okay, so just like I just said 2 seconds ago, if you have your house filled with a bunch of candies, a bunch of chocolates, a bunch of whatever, and it's a certain type of the season or time of the season, why don't you wait till the very last minute to buy those candies to fill in the house? If you're outfitted your whole entire house with healthy stuff right now, like in my house, we've got a lot of veggies, a lot of, rice cakes and different things like that or whatever, just to be able to snack on to get some crunch. And I talk about a couple of podcasts ago around making sure that my house is outfitted with proper and healthier alternatives for me because I'm a snacker, I'm a grazer. I'm somebody that likes to, at night times, I get bored or I start to feel the pressure of all day long with a full-time gig, with the podcast, with everything going on. At nighttime, I just get into this place where I'm like, I'm so bored and I just need to eat something, right? And along with curb the stress of everything. But my house is outfitted with a lot of really healthy stuff right now. And so we're set up for success right now. My wife and I we're in a good spot right now. We're eating healthier. We're working out. My wife right now, as we speak, is out for a run this morning. We are in a good spot, right? And we're pushing forward to do the right things. But the second that I go out and buy bags of Halloween candy, because I know right now, every one of you, even though it is only, late September, as you walk through the aisle, you see all the Halloween candy on the right-hand side of whatever aisle you're going to. You go to Target or Walmart or whatever, you're going to see it everywhere. And you decide, I might want to get ahead of that because the deal is good. They got a 2-for-1, they got blah, blah, blah. And you throw it into the basket, you bring it home, you put it in the shelf, you say to yourself, I'm not going to eat it. That's fine, it's sitting up there. And then Mr. Life happens. You're sitting there, you get a call saying your parents are ill or something's going on, or you get in a car accident or something happens and the stress starts to happen, or the bills start to pile up, or the lights get turned off real quick, or whatever happens when life deals you a set of cards, whether it's a product of things that you've done or whether it's just because life is a butt face. And that's an actual term, okay? So all these things would happen, and then what do? Instead of going to snack on healthier items that are sitting in your house, I'm going to snack on the bad items. Because now I'm looking at it going, those candies are sitting right there, and that's what I'm thinking about. And it's in my brain, and I'm sitting there going, how good would it... you know what? What's one Reese's cup going to hurt? What's one chocolate and peanut butter morsel of goodness going to hurt me? That's okay. I'll just do one. I'm fine with it. And I would do the one, and it probably tastes euphoric and delicious and amazing. And you're like, oh man, even though you got some guilty feelings, but you're okay with that because it's only one. And then you start thinking about the life problem. And then you go back to it and say, well, I'm going to get 2. Because 2, it's not the whole bag. I'm not binging like I used to. Oh, I used to be so much worse. I could eat this whole bag in one setting. So I'm just going to have 2. And then you go back to sitting down and you start thinking more about the problem or the issue that has occurred. And it's starting to overwhelm you. You start getting emotional. Maybe you got some tears flowing. Maybe you got whatever. And then you're like, well, let me just go get 3 because I'll be okay with it. You see what I'm saying here? My point is, are you prepared for whenever things may happen? Do you have a plan B around reactions? We always talk about having a plan to win, right? You got a plan to be able to be successful, and you're going through that plan and having a plan B and C in case something happens. You can kind of move around it and do this, that, and the other, and navigate and reroute and be like the GPS unit when it says rerouting and do everything you have to do. We always talk about that, but we don't talk about our backup plan to how we set ourselves up for success when the plan B is required and when life throws you a brick at your face. Because it does. And it sucks. Life is not very friendly a lot of times. And then once life starts dealing more than one brick, right? So now it hits you once and you're like, oh, step back and I'm kind of stunned. I got a little bit of a wooziness going on. I'm like, okay, I can get through this. I'm fine. I'm good. And then boom, a second thing happens. Or pow, a family member skins a knee. You got to go to the emergency room or something's going on. Or whatever happens. It all matters. Your preparation matters of how you're going to be able to fight back against those situations that are going to happen that life is going to deal you. The problem is that we don't think about that when things are good. We just don't. When things are good and we're in the mode of I'm working out, I'm feeling good, I'm losing weight, I'm being healthy, I'm doing all the things I need to do, and I'm feeling really good about the situation, we don't really think about our negative thoughts. And we don't start thinking to ourselves, okay, I want to make sure I prepare myself for when something does happen. So let me go ahead and make sure that I've got like my nuclear bunker that I've got going on in my house. Or I've got it set up in my calendar where I've got calendar appointments that are going to go off and the alarm's going to go off every time I need to go to the gym because I know there's going to be a day that I'm not going to feel like going to the damn gym. But that alarm goes off and it's going to make me feel guilty. It's going to give me a level of accountability. I can get off on my rump and just go and do some little walking on the treadmill or go lift some weights or whatever it is that you do. It's important. It matters. How are you prepared for when the crap hits the fan? I mean, it really is just about that. Because that's what life's all about, right? We have good experiences. We have enriching experiences. We have stuff that just really fills our heart and does a lot of really great things for us. And then we got situations that give us trials and tribulations that make us better, that help us to learn, to build our strength and all that stuff. But it still sucks when it happens. We always talk about how the experiences that you go through only make you better and they only make you more experienced and you're stronger and you've got calluses and you've got thick skin and you can take on anything and you can do whatever. But going through those, nobody's ever said to you, oh, it's going to be easy. It's okay. You can go through it. It's perfectly fine. No, it sucks when you're going through it. And it sucks to build up those calluses. And it sucks to have those scars that are still around through what life deals you. But it's important. And it's also important to make sure you do your best to try to set yourself with some tools in your tool belt to be able to attack those when they happen, when it's coming at you. Because it comes at you like a freight train. And it's no fun. Nobody ever said that it's a really fun thing to be able to go through all this stuff, right? And if they did, they're crazy people. Or they're wild and maniacal. And they're just like all out there going, I'm just a crazy person doing whatever I have to do. For me, life is going to happen. It has happened. I'm 45 years old. And I've got life that has happened all throughout, ups, downs, all over the place. I've got all kinds of experiences under my belt and tough situations that I've been through that has made me who I am today. But why don't I learn from some of those situations of my faults, some of the triggers, some of the things that I've leaned back in on, some of the things that I do that I shouldn't do when I'm stressed or when I'm upset or when I'm unhappy, when I'm bored, when life happens. I've got to set myself up for success. And if I've got a plan, then I can be that much more prepared. Now, don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, just because you have a plan doesn't mean you're going to be perfect, okay? When life happens, sometimes it just needs some grieving time. You just need some time to be able to just cry it out and just do the things you have to do. And if you do slide down the road of going through a binge or you go through whatever, life does happen. It does. And we're not perfect. We are perfectly imperfect, trust me. All of us have our faults. All I'm saying is that you need to be able to set yourself up for some sort of resemblance of success. Give yourself a plan, at least that you can lean in on, that you can use as a guideline when the waters are rocking and the boat is tipping back and forth of life. And you're just sitting there going, I can't even stand up straight right now because I got so much stuff going on. Because it's not a fun feeling to know you're out of control. There's nothing you can be able to wrap your hands around or your head around. And you're sitting there just trying to stay above water and you don't have a plan. But if you have a plan, at least when that boat's rocking, you could say, okay, you know what? All right. Now, one of the things in my plan was I need to meditate and breathe. I need to do whatever it is. Like if it's the food you're outfitting yourself, great. Like that was what I was talking about for me. Or if it's meditation, or it's time that you could take for yourself, or thoughts and think about things and just stop and breathe. Or it's going to the gym to bust some reps out because you got to get that energy out of your chest and out of your mind because you have to. It's the only way you're going to be successful. So whatever it is, all I'm saying is put it on paper and make it on purpose. Make sure that you're setting yourself up for success. Make sure that you're setting yourself up for when something does happen, you've got it lined up. And like I said, you may try to be able to follow through with that plan and you may fail. It's okay. But feel good at the end of the day that you're trying to set yourself up for preparations for those kind of moments. You're trying to make sure that you're staying to be better. You're sticking around to be a better version of you. You're trying to be successful moving forward and you're doing it for a good reason. And you're not just sliding into it to say, I give up because this just sucks and I can't really do anything. Set yourself up for success. I know it works for me and it matters to me because I've been through so many failures in my life when it comes to weight loss, when it comes to self-esteem and all those things. And I feel so much better when I'm in control, or I feel like I'm in control at least, and I'm trying to move forward. And I know that for me, my wife said it to me this weekend. She goes, you're in such a better spot when you feel like you're in control and you're feeling healthy and you're in the gym and you're doing the things that you need to do. You are in such a better spot, whether it's communicating between the two of us or whether it's just life in general. I'm able to get right in front of and do the things that I need to do. And that's my story. So it may not be relatable to you. I hope it is, but it may not be. And maybe you need to look at a different avenue because, mind you, all of us, every one of us, that the bad side of life is going to come. It's just waiting there to be able to deal you something, to be able to knock you on your butt. Now, how do you bounce back? How do you rebound? And how do you set yourselves up for success to be able to navigate that noise and be able to come out on top later? Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973 podcast. You can also follow him on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Liquidshano 1973. Also, if you get a chance, leave some love on iTunes. Have a great day.